latest episode of FlagPlus Football's First and Goal podcast. I'm your host, Brent, Bodkin.
I'm Quaysie to Maule.
All right, so the regular season for most divisions has come to an end, but not for every single division. Still a couple of games that matter, at least in terms of who's going to make the playoffs and who will be on the outside looking in. And of course, obviously, seeding matters right now more than ever. Final week of the regular season is here. So let's hop into it, man. Division 6B. So the last time we were here, right, there was a couple games that were being played, or had been played, I should say. There was one game though that wasn't played by the time we went the air. That was Fantasy Stars taking on the Skrillers. That was last Wednesday, April 1st, down in Broussard. The Skrillers rolling to a 31-12 victory over the Fantasy Stars in that contest. A great performance. So Saj Singh went 8 of 15 for 128 yards and 5 touchdowns, 8 completions, 5 of them for touchdowns. That's pretty solid. Aiden Lasry, 3 touchdowns in the game. So good job by those two. Defense picked off opposing quarterbacks. Christopher Robbins and Victor Desjardins, 1 time each. So a great offensive defensive performance by the Skrillers, again rolling to that 31-12 victory. With that loss, so the Skrillers, talking about teams on the outside looking in, they are still on the outside looking in right now for Division 6B, right? 12 teams make the playoffs. They have 4 points, as do the Goblins and as do AAA. Again, all three of those teams with 4 points right now, but a huge loss there for the Fantasy Stars.
Yeah, I think you made a mistake. You said the Skrillers are looking in, but I think you meant the Fantasy Stars looking in with 4 points.
No, sorry, yeah, no, Skrillers in the playoffs, Fantasy Stars on the outside looking in.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's what I said. Pretty sure. All right, if that's what I said, the Fantasy Stars on the outside looking in.
Yeah, pretty much, right? And then they have a big week coming in. They have a big week next week for their last game of the season, where they're gonna play Nardogs, where Nardogs have pretty much secured their spot, being 3-6. So again, they don't have 9 points again. So I think they're still gonna go in, even if Fantasy Stars end up winning that game, because we're somehow gonna have a three-way tie with some of these teams. We have AAA right now also at 2-7. They have 1 game left. You have Hope Patrol that's also 2-6-1 with 1 game left. And again, I just said Nardogs that are 3-6, and then Toolbox are in 3-6. So if somehow Fantasy Stars can win their last game versus Hope Patrol, I believe that's what they play against. Against Nardogs, if they could win that game, they'll move into 3-6. They will tie Nardogs at 3-6. If AAA wins their game, they'll 3-7. Fantasy Stars will be 3-7. AAA will be 3-7. Nog Dogs will be 3-7. If Toolbox ends up losing the last game, they'll be 3-7. So we can have a four-way tie with all these teams. And unfortunately, the team that's probably going to get screwed out of the playoffs because with a four-way tie, it becomes points against is going to be Fantasy Stars. So Fantasy Stars are pretty much praying for Hope Patrol to lose their game, or AAA to lose their game, and then they pretty much will get in if they win their game. So they kind of have to win and then hope AAA loses versus Goodfellas, which is not the best thing since Goodfellas is 0-9. And then they're also hoping for Hope Patrol to lose versus the Stables, where the Stables right now are 8-1. So they have to be honest, your Hope Patrol is more realistic to lose versus the Stables because the Stables are having a good season right now. They're actually the number 1 offense scoring team, and I believe they're number 2 in defense, allowing only 146. So that could be realistic. But I don't think AAA is going to lose versus Goodfellas. I think Goodfellas is going to finish their season 0-10, unfortunately for them. But Fantasy Stars are just pretty much hoping for a win next week and then a lose from sorry, I'm blanking on the. I know they need a win. They're hoping for they want a 2 loss, but they're hoping for a lose from Hope Patrol so they could jump them in that playoff seeding and take probably the 12th seed, so they get to further longer their season going into playoffs.
All right, well, listen, best of luck to all those teams again with remaining games this week. Again, the action doesn't stop. Week 15 kicking off this coming Monday, April 13th. Like I said, 4 games on the schedule. One in Saint Laurent, so I'll be there for that one. AAA and Goodfellas. I'm hoping Goodfellas gets that W. And then obviously, like you said, 3 games in Broussard all next Wednesday. Hope Patrol Stables, Nard Dogs, Fantasy Stars. Like you said, a big potential playoff matchup there. Who's going to get in, who's not. And then Maule Ball and Toolbox.
Mm-hmm. All
All
right,
right,
if
so let's
you'll
switch to Division 6A.
yeah, Division 6A. So I believe last time we left off, it was from week 3 where we talked about everyone from March 30th, so on the Monday. But we didn't talk about the sophomore Excel exchange students games versus Sweet Bonanza
Yeah.
because that game that didn't happen yet, and Booze Cruise versus Only Flag. So we actually had a huge game from Sweet Bonanza, which I'm pretty sure they needed to win that game. So they got the win against um,
Yeah,
Sophomore
sophomore
XL,
Excel. Yeah.
which was pretty big for them because now they jumped into the 3rd seed officially, where the the teams are set for Division 6A. The teams are set. Um, there could be a bit of movements because Only Flags, for some reason, still have 2 games left in the season, and Vice City has one more game left. Which, if they end up losing that game, there's going to be a 3-way, 4-way tie. And then we have PPR Merchants that
Yeah,
also
Merchants,
have
yeah,
one
one
game
game.
left. If they could win that game, they probably could jump into the highest they could jump is the 8th seed, maybe no, the highest they could jump is the 8th seed. So there's still a lot of football left. Again, this week we had Sophomore Excel, which Sweet Bonanza got a huge win, secured their playoff spot, and then Booze Cruise ended up beating Only Flags, pitting Booze Cruise at 9-1, securing the number 1 seed. So that's good for them, and giving Only Flags their 3rd loss of the season. But again, we said that, as I said, they have 2 more games left. And then this week we had Booze Cruise played Sweet Bonanza, so they basically spoiled Sweet Bonanza's uh, not playoff push, their regular season push, where maybe they were able to get in there, they were able to jump a bit higher in the standings, and then they also secured their number 1 spot, winning 48-26. And then you had Owepa Mal that played Vengeance, where Owepa Mal took care of business. They won 37 to 20 versus Vengeance, and they locked themselves up as a number 2 seed.
So I was going to correct you on one thing. So you talked about PPR Merchants. They could jump higher, actually. They could jump into 7 because their final game is against Only Flags, who right now sit in 7th, right? But PPR Merchants are 2 points behind Only Flags, right? The Only Flags with 10, PPR Merchants with 8. The Merchants could jump if they tie them, so then they'll have the head-to-head tiebreaker with them. Only
Yeah,
Flags would also have to lose their remaining games. Only Flags finishes off with Vice City. So basically, PPR Merchants has to be Only Flags, and Only Flags has to lose in the final week against Vice City. So
yeah.
then actually, so PPR Merchants could jump to 7th.
But it's weird because the PPR Merchant game was played. I just realized I'm checking it now. It was supposed to be played on Saturday, March 21st.
Yeah, I
So
don't think it didn't happen. So
I don't know if they're redoing it or maybe it didn't sync properly. It's something we kind of have to maybe find out. But yeah, you are right. If Only Flags do lose their 2 remaining games, they will finish 5-5, and then PPR Margin will get the tie break head to head, so they could jump into the 7th seed. So you were completely right on that.
you
And
know what?
then
Since while we're doing this podcast, I'm gonna message the powers that be here at FPF and find out what happened with that game. So hopefully before we finish this episode, we'll find out. I imagine though that that game probably just didn't get played because that does happen sometimes, but we'll
hmm,
find out to make sure. Hopefully we'll have the answer before we go out the air here.
yeah. Well, there has
All
to
right.
be one team that forfeited, right? Or maybe they did maybe
Yeah.
neutral forfeit. I'm not exactly sure. And then the last game of the season, we have Gamblers versus Best Worst Zusk.
The Gus, yeah.
So, I mean, that's going to be interesting to see the 2 bottom teams playing versus each other. Hopefully, Best West Gus could get the better hand of Gamblers, ending their season 1-9, and then Best Gus will be ending their season 1-9. But they'll actually jump them because they'll have the head to head. So they actually they won't be last in the standings. Gamblers will be last. So that game is going to be interesting to see who's basically the worst team in Division 5, Division 6A for this season.
Oh, but again, listen, bragging rights or something.
Yeah.
Bragging rights say they count for something, right? So yeah, we'll have to see what happens.
Let's go to 5C.
All right.
So 5C is, again, it's a pretty big division. There's 21 teams. So this is actually one of the divisions where there is a decent amount of games being played. going back into week 14. No, it would be week 14. That's ping this week, and then week 13. We talked about pretty much everyone from Monday, March 30th, and then we had from going down. So, any of those games that kind of stood out to you?
Uh, yeah, well, 45 nothing. The Studs beating down Bonnie's Blues Clues. So I score kept their game last Saturday at Con U. They played. Hold on, I'm trying to find it here. I remember just watching them play. Of course, now that I want to find out where they were. Oh yeah, sorry.
Saturday
Yeah, Score
or
kept their game against Big TDs. Sorry, TDs and Big D's. That was the following Saturday. So I didn't have the chance to see their game on Thursday. They got beat down 45 nothing. But then I Score kept their game a couple 2 days later basically, and they were really competitive. They lost at the end of the game more or less to TDs and Big D's. And I'm surprised getting beat 45 nothing one week, one day, and then 2 days later turning around and almost knocking off TDs and Big D's.
yeah, and TD BD is not a bad team either, right?
Not at all.
They finished the regular season 5-5, so it's kind of it's funny to see that they can't they weren't able to score any points um the following week versus the Studs. Maybe the Studs are just that good and they're actually just studs, and they're able to drop 32 points on TDs and BDs, and also almost making that you would say upset for those teams. One thing to also to kind of talk about with TDs and Big Ds, I'm not sure if it was TDs or Big Ds or it was Takeoff Squad, but Old Pats lost their two. They had two games during that week. They actually played back to back, so they played in St. Leo. They played at 8 o'clock, and then they played at 9 o'clock. I want to say their 9 o'clock game there was a fight because I heard that there was a punch that got thrown from a player from Old
Yep.
Pat.
Yep.
I'm not exactly sure who the player was, but I was told that there was a punch thrown because I think I
Yeah,
played
same.
later that night. So hopefully that doesn't affect them too much during the season because usually when you throw a punch, you do get suspended for a couple games, sometimes for a year, sometimes for 3 years, sometimes for depending how bad it is. So that player is definitely probably not going to be playing playoffs with them. Luckily for them, they're 4-4 with one tie with one game left. They're they're technically secured their playoff spot because that tie is pretty huge. And the only team that could technically jump them is LVL Jack Boys at 4-5 with one game left. And then Dixie Rec also at 4-5 with one game left as well too. So I think they do have a tie break versus Legion of Goon for points against. Just gonna double check here. Yeah, they do have the tiebreak with Legion. Well, sorry, by tiebreak I mean they have less points again, so they are gonna jump them. So they're basically secured. Can LA Jack Boys go? Well, yeah, they secured their playoff spot. So at least there's that, right? So if one of their good players are suspended and they can't play week 10, it's not the biggest deal because they technically are in the playoffs. So luckily for them, that's the case.
Right. Um, Andrew, I just want to go back for a second. So you mentioned well, we were talking about Bonnie's Blues Clues. I want to give a shout out to Max Gregoire, uh, against scorekeeping that game against Houston BDs. The dude had like four touchdown catches and like three INTs. And I think one of the INTs he ran back to the house. I should know because I score kept this game, but Saturday's a long time ago. Okay, no, he did not run it back to the house, but he got tackled at like the 5 yard line. This guy played one game this year with the Bruins in Division Two. He had one catch for 25 yards and went for a touchdown. This guy was, let me tell you, all over the field. Any ball that was not a great pass in the air, he was knocking it down or picking it off. Great hands. He was kind of a one man show at times. Anyways, this is a guy, Max Gregoire. So shout out to him. Should be playing in a higher division because he's really talented. Just wanted to get that out.
Mhm.
But yeah, so you talked about obviously the whole thing with the old Pats. I had heard about it as well, actually on Saturday, from Keon. And yeah, guys, let's be smart here. Uh, we pay money to play. There's no time for stupidity. Listen, football is an intense sport, emotions and all that stuff. You get worked up, and sometimes people do dumb stuff. 100%, right? It's life, but throwing punches and getting kicked out of games and then getting banned or getting suspended for a couple of weeks, especially when the playoffs are here, right? Like that's not what you want to be doing. You guys got to use your heads. Let cool down. Let cooler heads prevail. If you're upset, it's cool. Try to talk it out. Talk it out, pardon me, or walk away. Be the more mature adult here, and stay around for your team when the playoffs come, right? Because if the players from both sides, right, if you guys get suspended for a playoff game, you're gonna feel pretty dumb, right? You let down
Mhm.
your team, because if someone was talking a little trash or someone got a little too physical with you. It's football, right? We're not playing soccer, so
Yeah.
it's a rough sport. It's gonna happen sometimes. Be smart though.
Especially like a veteran team like Old Pats too, right? These are not younger guys. Sometimes you see younger guys that have hot heads and they kind of
Yeah,
just do
yeah,
stupid stuff.
yeah.
Like you guys are too old to be throwing punches.
Yeah, for both teams, right? For both teams, it's like you can't just. We're not trying to pick on one team here. For both teams, just be smart, right? You want to play some ball. It's what you sign up for.
mhm. So we have so going down to the last week, right? We have LVO Jack Boys. Sorry, to end the week, we have LVO Jack Boys versus Underachievers. They're actually playing today, so that's a huge game for LVO Jack Boys. Pretty much, they win and they're in, but if they lose, they're out. So again,
Yeah.
pretty much playoff game for them. And fortunately for them, they're playing over underachievers that are 1-7. That have only scored 95 points this season. So they're averaging in 8 games, they're averaging about 12 points per game, which is, to be honest, if I'm going into a game where a team's only averaging 12 points, I'm not going in too confident, but I'm
you're,
happy about the
you're pretty excited.
situation. If this is the last, because literally they're the lowest scoring offensive team. Defensive wise, they're not bad. They only allow 213, so their defense is still doing what they're doing. It's not bad. They're only allowing
Yep.
about 25 points per game, maybe 23, 24. Maybe my math is a bit off, but it's not too bad, right? Defense is playing well. Offense is struggling. But if I'm LVL Jack Boys, I just want to take care of business. I want to win that game. Maybe jump. They could jump up to 3 teams. To be honest with you, they could knock out Dixie Rec as well. That's in the 14th seed if they end up losing. But they could jump, yeah. But they definitely will jump Legion of Goon. That's 4-5-1. So no matter what, they could jump up to 3 teams. At worst, they'll jump 1 team and they'll finish in the 14th seed. So that's pretty big for them. And then the other game that's going to be also pretty big, that's going to be happening next week, it's going to be Old Pats versus Dixie Rec. So you never know. Maybe Old Pats lost one of their good players. Maybe they lost one of their top studs. So for a team like Dixie Rec, that's also kind of in the that's right now in the playoffs, that's looking out. That might be big for them if Old Pats lost someone that makes a big role. It'll make their game. It'll make the game a bit easier for them. And again, they're also in a win. They also need to win just in case LPL Jack Boys do win, because they're also a team that could get knocked out of playoffs as well.
Sure. Quickly before we hop divisions, I also want to say shout out to Royal Flush. Bit of an upset. 20-19, they knocked off Vice City. So that's
Mhm.
a big win for those guys for Royal Flush as they head into the playoffs now. I believe they're the sixth seed, if I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken.
they are the
Royal
six.
Flush, yes, yeah, so the sixth seed. So big win for them to kind of jump up the standings a little bit and knock off one of the heavyweights in Vice City.
Yeah, it's a
All
huge
right.
win for them. Good momentum
Yeah,
too going to it.
yeah,
And
exactly,
then
exactly.
yeah, good game for them for anyone. And then again, quickly Studs clinched the number 1 seed. Right now they're 9-0. They have 1 game left, but because unless the other team scores 50 points against them, even if they lose the game, they finish 9-1. They'll still claim the number 1 seed because points against. And they didn't play. They didn't play the Panthers. They didn't play the Panthers
Yeah.
this season as well. So it's not going to go head to head. It'll be points against. And right now, Studs are ahead of them by 40, 39 points. So as long as they don't let 39
All right,
points in the last game of the season, they'll secure the number 1 seed.
all right, there we
So
go.
5B.
Yep, 5B. Uh, so since we last joined you guys, a couple games happened Wednesday night. PI Central knocked off Angry Birds 35-19. South Shore Crash Outs blew out Jamaican Bobsled Team 42-13. And Bend Don't Break hit a 50 burger as they dropped 50 in their 50-24 win over the Perplexers. Saturday, we saw a bunch of games. Saturday, Swiffer Wet Jets beat Rampage 34-12. Demons. So I got to see this game. Demons, minus the starting quarterback who's injured, gone for the season, minus the rusher who broke his leg, is gone for the season. Demons led by Neil Wright. Uh, Tough defensive battle. They won 12-7 over deep zone penetrators. Chamonix Chos with a blowout victory 33-6 over Puff Puff Pass. Bend Don't Break edging Catch and Flex 32-31. We had a forfeit. Emperor's Retraite 16-0 over perplexers, sorry. PSTM 36-18 over Green Monster Family. That's a game I was looking forward to. And then Chamonix Chos, another game that's looking forward to. So PSTM got a W on Saturday, but Monday night at Stady Bear, they lost 43-24 to the Chamonix Chos. So big W there for a bunch of teams. Tonight we have Chateauguay Community College against We Ain't Done with the 90s. That should be a really good matchup. And then Thursday, tomorrow, Catch and Flex against McGill Swim Team and Angry Birds against Deep Zone Penetrators. There's one more game next week to wrap up this division, at least as far as the regular season is concerned. It's Emperor's Retraite against the McGill Swim Team. That's going to be next Monday, April 13th at Stade de Soccer.
Yeah, I'm
So
looking
a lot of
forward to
games over the last couple of days.
I'm looking forward for Deep Zone versus Angry Birds. If you're looking at the standings real fast over here, Deep Zone's in the 15th seed. Everybody else, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Unfortunately, your season's over. You can't make playoffs. Deep Zone, right now in the 15th seed, they're 4-5 with one game left. If they could win that game, they will knock out South Shore Crash Outs that right now are 4-6. Unless, wait, before I talk too much, let me just see something, double check, because I did see something here. Yeah, because yeah, exactly. South Shore Crash Out has the tie break between both of these teams. So if Deep Zone loses, they finish 4-6, where South Shore is 4-6. But South Shore has the head-to-head against them because South Shore beat them during the regular season. So Deep Zone has to win their game versus Angry Birds. If they win their game versus Angry Birds, they jump in as the 14th seed, and South Shore Crash Outs come in as 15th seed, and they knock them out of playoffs. So that's going to be a huge game for this team. And again, if Angry Birds could get a win here, they could jump up ahead of Catch a Flex, and they'll come in the 7th seed, which is nothing crazy, but you never know how seeding sometimes works in playoff matches. Again, the top 14 teams make it. Top 4 get first round buys, and then we have a wild card round where we play 11 versus 14. So you never know. You never know who you could play against. Sometimes if they end up winning that game, it benefits them. Sometimes they don't. So it's kind of weird how things work. But one huge game and then one game where you can have a team kind of leap up again. And then also Chateauguay versus Community College, as you said, that's also going to be a big game versus We Ain't Done with the 90s. If they could win, if We Ain't Done the 90s could win that game, they'll jump up as high as the 2nd seed, and they'll drop Chateauguay Community College actually to the 3rd seed. The 4th seed. So they could go from not playing bend no break. Let's just say for some reason in the semifinals we have 1 versus 4, 2 versus 3. They go from not playing bend no break in the semis to playing them in the semis. If for some reason the top 4 teams decide to just keep going and there's no upsets in the playoffs.
And if you look, so going back to that deep zone penetrators against Angry Birds game, the Angry Birds have lost 2 in a row, so they're not exactly playing their best football now. So if you're the deep zone penetrators again, you're coming off that tough loss to the Demons, and even a week before, that's a while before that, I should say, pardon me, coming off the whole schedule right with these guys is messed up. They had a game March 8th and March 9th, and they had off all the way until last Saturday. Hey, FPF schedule for you. But these zone penetrators, right? They've lost technically 2 in a row. So again, this is it. Winning, you're in, right? You control your own destiny. Deep zone penetrators. So we're calling you guys out. Winning, you're in. Take care of your business against the Angry Birds tomorrow night in Chateauguay. 10:15 start for that one. Should be a really good game.
Yes, sir. Let's go Division
Right.
5A.
Yes, sir.
So from
That's a
Division 5A,
5A. Yep.
there's 4 games that we need to talk about that end up happening. CS JV alumni took out New Kids 46-26, and then Super but Superbach played New
Okay.
Kids right after. They won 23-12. Thunder Buddies almost lost versus Deep Balls. They won 33-32.
32. Yeah.
And then the last game of week 13 was Spartans versus Superbach. And that game ended 18-18 in a tie. So big game. Actually, shout out to Spartans for getting a tie there. Superbach is by far the better team. The Spartans were able to kind of climb
Yeah.
themselves back into the. I was kind of watching it from the side, and they're able to. I think at one point it was 6-18, so they're able to come back and tie the game, and unfortunately weren't able to finish it during overtime. But a tie is a tie. It's a good way to kind of end the season
Yeah.
for the Spartans. For the Spartans.
Yeah. Yep. We had a couple of games this past weekend as well, Easter weekend. Viewlings beat Ice Up 30-24. Speed Academy 32-18 over Unsportsmanlike Conduct. Blowout 56-0. Texas Whales beating down the Spartans. So you were talking about the Spartans, giving them some props. They basically did not show up for their game, losing 56-0 to the Texas Whales. That's an ugly one right there. I'm gonna give you a stat line. So Luca Venditti went 1 of 9 for negative 20, yes, negative 24 yards and 4 INTs. That's a tough one there. On the other side for Texas Whales, Daniel Alessandro, 5 catches, 107 yards, 5 touchdowns in that contest. So obviously, it was a solid night there for Alessandro in that game. Again,
That's
as
a
his team won by a score of 56-0. Wow.
that's a crazy stat line. 1 for 9 for
Yeah,
-24 is insane.
yeah, do minus 24 yards.
That's a crazy
All
game.
right.
I want to give a shout out to Rob for Code
Yeah,
Red.
Code Red.
I
Code
want to give
Red.
Code Red. I get a shout out to them. They played
Yeah.
spoiler. They ended up knocking us out for our playoff spot with a win of 39-14. I didn't play my best game, to be honest with you, but I'm still gonna give credit to them. They did what they had to do. They actually brought Jason
Yeah,
Armiti.
Menti. Yeah.
They brought him back. He played well. He threw some of the balls he threw were spot on. His receivers the receivers did play. They did have a decent amount of subs, so there is that.
Yep. Yep.
But again, at the end of the day, if it fits the cap and it works, then it is what it is. So I'll give a shout out to them. They spoiled us. I'm pretty sure Rob wanted to spoil us too. They wanted to make sure we didn't make playoffs. So they did their job, and yeah, that's pretty much it for my team for our season.
Yeah, did they ever have some subs? When I'm looking at so Jason Armenti, obviously, he's been in the league for a million years. Austin Yazbek, McDonald, Alex Zaleski. Rob was scorekeeping on Saturday when I was at Connu. Rob was refing, sorry, and I was at Connu with him scorekeeping, and he's like, "Yeah, man, trying to get some subs for tonight." He said, "Yeah, put some feelers out there." He said one or two guys said yes because I had seen he had put a post on Facebook. He's like, "Yeah, I think we're good for tonight." I'm like, all right, cool. He said a bunch of guys on his team we're like, oh, we don't want to be here, or not that we don't want to be here, but like we're kind of bailing because they know the playoffs aren't going to happen. Some
Yeah,
young cats. That's what happens with some of these young guys, right? And yeah, Jared Gallant, like, yeah, they had a team of subs. I'll tell you that they definitely had a team of subs.
I know they.
I mean,
When I looked
right?
at, it, I was like, these guys are what ratings? Like, looking at, like I'm there. I'm looking
Yeah,
at
yeah.
them. I'm like, you're what?
I was just 5'8".
I was like, what's the rating here? How are these guys? This is the team that he should have had for Code
Yeah,
Red.
well, that's it. Exactly. 100% should have had that team.
Yeah,
I
I don't
guarantee
know.
you, if Rob had Code Red, if this was a real Code Red team, they'd probably be the 8-2, 9-1, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Jason also played very good in there. Just they had ball hawks. Guys are able to attack the ball. Also,
yeah.
I think this is the first time I got to play against a ref too. I got to play against Stephen
Yeah,
Donald.
Stephen Donald. Yeah.
It was kind of funny. He was talking a little trash here and there.
He's a good dude. He's a good
Yeah,
dude, Stephen Donald.
it was fun. It
Nice.
was fun. And then we ended with no pun intended ended up playing Toon Squad, where I want to say Toon Squad had to win their game. I'm just gonna double check here. Yeah, Toon Squad. Yeah, Toon Squad definitely had to win their game, so they ended up winning their game. They actually played no pun intended. That's in the 14 seed, so they basically jumped them no matter what. The last game we have left because there's only one game left, is Texas Wales versus Kicking Assets. So that's going to be happening next week, I want to say, April 12th, where Kicking Assets right now are 3-6. If they win, they jump, no pun intended, and they secure the last 14 seed to get into playoffs. If they lose, no pun intended, clinches the 14 seed, and we'll have our 14 teams for the playoffs.
All right, all right.
Let's go to 4B.
Okay, cool. So hop over to Division 4B right now. Um, so since we were here last, we had two games that we didn't get a chance to talk about because they were happening while we were filming the pod. So we had the Bandits with a big 20-7 win over no punt intended. And then a shootout between the Studs and the Brewers. It went down 47-46 W for the Studs in that game. Just looking quickly to see here. If Philip Jaliana there for the Studs, he's seen him play. He's a good quarterback, good up and coming quarterback. 6 TDs in that game. Michael Kuet caught 3 of them, so he had a monster game. Shout out to Pease. I don't know how Pease did this. I love Pease, but I don't know how Pease did this. 35 of 46 for 335 yards, 7 touchdown passes. I don't think if Pease created himself in Madden, he could throw 7 touchdown passes, but somehow he threw 7 touchdown passes. He had 1 INT. His team lost the game, unfortunately. Christopher Moran, 96 yards, 14 catches, 96 yards, 2 touchdowns. Yeah, this game went down to the wire. I'm just looking to see quickly the play-by-play. Again, shoot up between two teams as they really put those points up. So yeah, final play of the game, Pease actually threw that INT. So fortunately for him, Kuwait caught the game winning touchdown for about 6 plays left, give or take. So that's so again, shout out to Kuwait winning the game for his team. Yeah, went down to the wire, but again, 47-46, a shootout between those two teams.
That's a big game for Peace too. Big game for Brewers
Yeah,
as well, and a game they kind of needed to win.
yeah,
If they won
yeah,
that game, they would have won 3-7-1, and they would have
yeah.
jumped Gabaleaf. Right now, that's 3-6. So
Yep.
lucky for Gabaleaf, they pretty much secured the 12 seed. So it doesn't matter for their last game. They have one game left versus Dirty Dogs. So if they win that game, they could jump a couple spots. Actually, maybe depends. Because there'll be a 4-way, there'll be a 3-way tie. So actually, no. Fortunately for them, if they beat Dirty Dogs, they actually will stay in that 12th seed most likely. Depends on points against, but it seems like they will, depending if they win by like, I think they have to win by more than 12, and then they'll probably jump instead of being the 12th seed, they'll be the 11th seed. But I mean, they're pretty. I'm assuming they're happy that the Brewers did lose because it's less pressure on them for the last game of the season versus Dirty Dog that's going to be taking place on Thursday, April 9th. So
Yep.
literally tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow, right? Um, Going into the standings, no flags given actually lost their first game of the season versus Dirty Dogs, April 12th. So Dirty Dogs played spoiled. I know no flags given definitely wanted to finish their season 10-0.
Yep.
They're pretty much the team that was dominating. You got Tyler Stewart that's having a great year. He didn't do so bad either. I guess they just know Dirty Dogs just scored pretty much every possession they had. You had Jacob Souls that went 16 for 21, 301 yards, 8 TDs. So he had 16 completions, and out of the 16 completions, eight of them were touchdowns. So every second throw was pretty much a touchdown if you look at it that way. So
Yeah,
it looked
yeah.
like Steven defense definitely struggled a bit. You had Tyler Stewart that also didn't play that bad either. He went 14 for 22, 186 yards, 4 TDs, only threw 1 INT. So I mean, offensively, he didn't do so bad. I'm pretty sure they had a couple stops. He also ran one in as well too. When guarding, it seems like, uh, yeah, Tyler Jacob Souls didn't even rush either. So I guess he just had a really good game with his arm, and pretty much all of his players made plays when they had to make plays. So I don't know if this is a bad thing for no flags given the fact that they lost their last game of the season by letting a team score 53, or it's a good thing because you kind of just get that loss out the way, right? A lot of teams you have to kind of realize when you have a perfect season, you're not used to losing. Sometimes you kind of want to lose that game. So when you get into playoffs, you're not I guess you're kind of used to it, or you already have
Yeah,
that
yeah,
feeling. Okay, guys, we're down by 12. This is something we get
exactly,
out of,
exactly.
compared to having. I know I've had a season, I think, with the Brotherhood where we went 10-0, and I think we played our semis, and we weren't used to losing. And I think we were down by, I think it was 8. No, I think it was 16-0 or 16-6 going into halftime, and we weren't used to being down, and we weren't able to get out the hole. Like it was something we weren't used to all season, and we kind of just collapsed. So I think sometimes it's a good, sometimes they say it's a good thing not to have a perfect season, get that loss out the way, and then you kind of realize that you are touchable, and you're definitely able to lose a game. Sorry.
Sure, no, 100%, 100%. All right. So yeah, like I said, looking at the rest of the schedule here, like I said, obviously, for this week, a lot of big games. Well, a lot of big games did take place. I should say, pardon me. Last week in this division, like you said, Uncle Rico Riders beating the Packers 33-24. One goal, like I said, beating Grab Belief 34-18. Super Saiyans. Yeah, so a lot of big games. And yeah, we finish off tomorrow night, right? Like I said, Dirty Dogs and Grab Belief's going to be in Chateauguay at 9:15. So big game there between these two teams. At least again, you want to head into the playoffs feeling right. And so we'll see what happens again. Final game of the regular season tomorrow night.
Yeah, for sure. Shout out to Super Saiyans, actually. Shout out to Jordan Allen, winning their last game of the season, beating a good balls deep team 32-20. I was kind of watching their game on the sideline because I had a game after, and I'm pretty sure they're pretty happy winning that game, even though they ended their season 2-7-1. It was a good way to finish your season.
Yeah, but that's it. I mean, look at the Super Saiyans, right? Like they won two out of the last three games, right? They were a team they were looking for their first W for a while. And they didn't win three in a row, but at least they won two out of three. So end the season on a high note. So it's good for them. So and the next time I see Jordan Allard, I'm gonna see him this coming Monday in Saint Laurent for 35 plus. So I'll make sure that they let him know we give him some props on the podcast. The degenerate Eagle fan. So I mean, the Eagles fans, usually they're degenerates. You know what? He's all right. Jordan's all right. He's not like a lot of those loudmouth Eagle fans that are like obnoxious and annoying. He's all
Yeah,
right, Jordan. He'll talk, so it's funny. He talked a little trash to me 2 weeks ago on the sideline. I'm like, I'm sorry. Last time I checked, we knocked you guys out the playoffs. He was talking trash about my Niners, and I'm like, I don't know. We beat you guys last time I checked. Hmm.
I like that. I like
Anyways,
Jordan.
yeah, I'm not petty. I'm only a little petty sometimes.
No, I know I like Jordan. He's a baller. I played when he. I used to play when he used to play for Grip and Rip with Vinny Galato. Yeah,
Nice.
he was a big time
Yeah.
receiver over there. So I had our rivalries with Brotherhood and Grip and Rip, where he was kind of doing his thing over there. Unfortunately for them, they're all gone. Same thing with Brotherhood too as well. There's not really much players
Yeah, yeah,
left
that's
in
right. That's
Brotherhood.
right.
There's probably just B and Khalil that's left in that group. And I think for
Yeah.
Grip and Rip, I think Vinny does play 35 plus.
He
But for
does. He does. He
that
does.
the guys
Yeah.
that play like just in the league, I think Jordan's probably the only guy left because everyone else is also gone. So
I think so. But yeah, no, you're right. You're right. Jordan's the ball. I won my first championship with Jordan. I remember my quarterback was Sean Avram, who plays with him in 35 plus. He's like, yeah, we got to bring Jordan onto the team. He can ball. And I had seen him play, and I was like, all right, he looked like he could ball a bit. I think I seen him in lower divisions. He's like, just trust me, bring him on. I'm like, all right, cool. We brought him on. Honestly, he was like a huge difference maker on our team. He was like kind of like that. We had AJ as our top receiver and Dom Benevento as our snapper. Those like our two top guys. We had Jordan kind of in there as that like outside receiver number two, and like he doesn't look like he's fast, but he could blow. He can still blow by people.
yeah,
Great hands. He runs really good routes, and he was solid on defense too.
yeah, no, he's a great guy to have in your team. And I don't
Sure,
think his
for sure.
cap was that high either, so he was also a good sleeper pick to
Yeah, 100%, hundred
bring
percent.
into
And it's nice. Like, he made that transition, playing a little bit of quarterback now too, which is always cool to see. Change it up a little bit, have some fun. It's all
yeah,
good.
a bit different.
All right. So number we're supposed to have a guest coming on. I know he says he's. Oh, is it okay? Cool. So I have to go back to the screen. My bad. All right. So we have so we finished right now with Division 4A, right? I believe it
B,
was.
B, yeah. So we'll
Okay,
go
so we did
division
4B.
four.
So we'll hop back to 4A after. We got a special guest though. This is more important coming on the show. He plays for One Stop, solid quarterback, stand-up dude. I'm trying to get him onto the show for a while, just getting his schedule for our schedules. It's not always the easiest, but he finally got him. So it's gonna be Michael Caparelli coming on to the show. Again, been in FPF for a long time now, a couple seasons here with One Stop in Division 2. Welcome to the show, sir.
Division one, Brent.
Division One. So you're right, Division One. I read too much Division Two. You're right. So
What's up,
Michael
guys?
Caparelli from One Stop Division One.
You guys hear
What's up?
me?
How you doing?
What's up, guys? Thanks for having me. Yeah, like you said, Brent, it's been a while trying to get on the pod, so I'm happy we were able to finally make it work. So I'm excited to be here.
All right, all right. Well, we're happy to have you, man. We're happy to have you. So look, you've been in FPF race since 2022. Like I said, you've been playing primarily with One Stop in that. You're one of the top quarterbacks in the entire FPF. Doesn't matter what division you are. Obviously, you're in Division One, but you're one of the top quarterbacks in the league. Let's talk about your story. How'd you get into FPF? What has it been like for you since you've been here now for a couple of seasons?
Yeah, so the way I got into it, my first year, I was brought in to sub for, I think it was Small Giants, like 2022. I went to go sub as a receiver, and I fell in love with it right away. Honestly, like it was like the perfect pace for me. It was the league was so in depth. Like when you get in your first time, you've seen the podcasts and articles and all that stuff. Like it really attracted me, and it was just we went from there. We made our own team, 4th and Long, our first year after that, and then we've been making teams ever since. I've played on a few different squads, and no, it's been awesome, man. Like I said, it was just the first time you play, you fall in love with it. And I think it's the case for a lot of people, and yeah, it's been 3-4 years since then, and yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy to be in the league. It's sick.
Nice. So like I said, right now, right, you're playing for One Stop. You're the quarterback of the team, one of the captains. You guys finished your regular season 4-5-1. So you solidified your spot. You're in fourth place in Division One. You guys won your last two games, right? You beat Fins up 38-36, and you also got past the infantry 36-33. Actually, we're gonna have Rory Submergian on in a little bit. So if you want to talk trash, I'll make sure I'll relay whatever trash you got to talk to Rory. So like you said though, you guys finished that fourth seed. You're gonna be taking on the number 5 seed Royal Luminaire first round of the playoffs. You guys tied them 25-25 in week 7, so not too long ago. What are you looking forward to come playoff time in general, but specifically taking on Royal Luminaire?
Yeah, man, the playoffs are different. Like we've got a couple of times where we played against teams without their quarterbacks and stuff like that. Some teams not at full strength. Us neither. We've had some guys in and out of the lineup. I think the best thing is come playoff time. Like most teams have their full rosters, and it's like go time. Let's see who comes out on top. And they're a really good team. And this division is so balanced that like every team is solid. So whoever we would have drawn, it would have been the same mindset. Like we're all pretty closely rated and all that. So it's I'm really looking forward, especially we're two teams. We both finished with the same record. We tied against each other, so I think we're pretty evenly matched. And man, they got some ballers on their squad, but I like us too, man. They're a tricky team to play against. I think they have Isaiah Allard as the rusher. They have some athletes all over the place, so they're a really solid team. So I'm looking forward to it. And like I said, the playoffs is just it's the best time of year, man. Every game matters, and it's the time to make your mark.
Nice. Quaysie?
Yeah. So since you were playing in Division, I think your last season was Division 1, right? And then you played Division 2. I'm just gonna bring up your stats.
Yeah, this past spring, the summer was my first time playing in D1, and before that, I think we did either 2, maybe 3 seasons in Div 2. I think before that, but you definitely feel the jump, man. Like the first game ever was in Div 1, I think, was versus Kevin Wyatt, and it was like pretty surreal, to be honest. Like as soon as you got into FPF, that's the first person I heard about. You're searching the record books, all that. You see his name pop up a few times. Then first game in D1 is against him, so that was pretty cool. And yeah, we've played now 2 seasons there.
Okay. Do you like the new rule how a first down is midfield and then it's a 4th and goal, or do you prefer the 10 yards to a first down?
It's definitely like an adjustment. Like it's a great question because it's such a different game. Like the first couple of games with those rules were we really had a hard time moving the ball. And even this year, I didn't play in the fall, and then readjusting to come back in the winter to those rules. It's like it's having to get a chunk on each play really changes the game, I feel like. So I would say yes, I like it because the game is it's so much faster paced. There's a lot more chunk plays. You can't just take like your 2-yard check down each play. You need to really move the ball each time. So I think it forces that, like the quarterbacks to really have to put the ball in tight spots, and it just makes the game fun for everyone involved. It's just that it's a real challenge to get used to it at first. But I think once you get used to it, like now I can't see myself going back to playing the other way. It's just I've gotten so used to it now that it's really fun playing in that format.
Did you have to change your playbook a bit, or you kind of just went the same plays where you made the routes a bit deeper?
Yeah, I would say the playbook probably stayed pretty similar. It's just the quantity of which I called certain plays kind of changed.
Okay.
Where it's like maybe if I was playing, 10 yards for the first down, I'd be throwing a lot more triple slants, a lot more all hooks and all that stuff because I'm comfortable getting my 3-4 yards at a time. Whereas now it's like you'll mix that in, but it's not going to be your pure bread and butter because if you're just doing that, you're going to get yourself into a lot of like third and longs and fourth and longs. So you have to mix in the intermediate plays a lot more, I would say. But it's the same kind of plays, just the quantity has changed a little bit.
Okay. I was always curious. That's my question on a lot of quarterbacks, right? Because I know I'm a defensive guy, so I love the first down being midfield because I feel like 10 yards for first down is a joke.
It feels like that when I play in the lower divs now. It's like I can't even believe it. Like I'm like, how don't we get a first down on every single possession? Like it's we should be scoring nonstop, But
that's exactly it. So I think it benefits more the defensive. I think it benefits more defense when it comes to that rule, but I think it also makes it a bit more difficult for quarterbacks. And I think some quarterbacks like the challenge, like also like a guy like Kevin Wyatt that his bread and butter is triple slants left, triple slants right, take 3 yards, 4 yards, something like that. So he also had to change his game too. And I think it's something new. And I think people do like the challenge. I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, for me, I would say I like pushing the ball downfield, and I enjoy it more than in the past of it. Like as someone that's not as experienced as some of the guys in the div, it's like I don't want to throw the ball short like that much anyway. So just let me rip it and we'll have fun. So I think it kind of it meshes well with my playstyle a little bit, those rules. So it just again, it's a matter of getting used to it, and that's it. But I enjoy it. Like honestly, it makes the game funner for everyone. And like you said, it benefits the defense, and a lot of the rules in FPF are beneficial to the offense. So it's good to have something that benefits the defense. I feel like it's an added challenge, and when you get used to it, it's a good format to play in.
Looking at your stats right now, right? So you have 36 touchdown passes. You've thrown for over 2,000 yards. You're completing about 65% of your passes. So obviously you're having a strong season. Where, though, in your opinion, do you think you can improve your game going forward?
You left out a very critical stat. It's the interceptions. You're a very nice guy, Brent. But no, for sure, like just like in terms of game management, I think that's the big difference between like myself and like some of the really experienced guys in the league. I saw you guys had Ben McMahon on recently. Willpower, like those guys are so good at just managing the game, managing the clock, and all that stuff. Where it feels like they're always in control, and they always have a plan for what's coming next. Like the amount of reps that they've had in FPF, just it's normal. So I think it'll come with reps, but just being comfortable no matter the situation, and being able to really just take what they give you and really stay ahead of the chains, because like your completion percentage should be higher than that. Like 65 is not that high, especially in this format where they're kind of giving you the underneath. Like I got to get just better at taking that short stuff sometimes, because we have such good athletes on the team where it tempts me to just rip a fade or throw a deep post, because I feel like that guy can make a play, so why not? But just taking what the defense gives me and really like keeping us ahead of the chains and being in third and short, fourth and short, like recently we've been doing that much better, and it really helps the offense. So I would say that's the number one thing, just managing the game much better in situations right before the half, taking the time all the way down to the end, so it gives the other team no chance to get a drive off. Like stuff like that is what really makes the difference in Division 1. And I would say some guys are like really experts at doing that stuff, and I'd love to get to that level.
Okay. Obviously Division 1, right? With all the quarterbacks, you talked about Kevin Wyatt before. Obviously, you have Joe Mayu, Willpower, who you mentioned, Ben McMahon, there's Jean-Z Alexi, Jeremy White. The list goes on. Where right now do you put yourself kind of in that pyramid, in that totem pole, if you will, in terms of quarterbacks?
Look, like towards the middle, towards the bottom, honestly, because I think like I can do a lot of stuff that some of those guys can in terms of like arm strength and putting the ball in different places. But like I said, I think the most important thing is how can you manage the game? How can you stay ahead of the chain? So it's a tricky question because so much about being a quarterback in FPF is like you're pretty much like you're also the OC pretty much. You're the play caller, and you're also like that ties into it as well. So those guys have real like a lot of the guys have a lot of great playbooks, great efficiency, and they're able to really like manage a game at a high clip. Where it's like if you watch me from a distance, you might see some more highlight plays in some of those guys, but I don't think you're gonna see the same efficiency and all that. So I would say like look, with all those guys, I'm towards the middle, towards the bottom, and I enjoy competing with them because they're all really really good. But I think I can do some of the stuff that they can't, but they can do a lot of the stuff I can't either. So I think it's a really good mix of guys.
Okay.
I have a question. Well, Brent, you mind if I ask a question?
Yeah,
Okay.
go for it.
We actually talked about this back in January 26th. So this was kind of the beginning of the season. You played against the Party Crashers and you lost 41-0, right? So I want to know what exactly was going through your mind during that game, and like how were you able to kind of like pull yourself out of it? Because after that game, you started doing better, and
No, it's a good question. So really, I feel like just to start the year as a whole, before I get to Party Crashers, just in general, we really started the season really slow. Our offense, we weren't putting up any points in the first like half of the season, pretty much. And like I said, a lot of us didn't play the flag in the fall, and that break from summer and then jumping straight back into the winter season when a lot of the guys were playing like tournaments and all that stuff, and we're consistent in the fall. I felt like the first half of the season that we really had a hard time like just getting back into the rhythm of like, okay, what works in FPF again? Like what is like us being a lot of tackle football guys, it's tough to get back into that sometimes. So I would say to start the year we're struggling with that. But for Party Crashers in particular, man, that game was just we were trying to find answers like anywhere we could. Like they were swarming, man. Like they're a really good team. I think it was just a perfect storm of like they started with the momentum and then we're trying to just play catch up, and it just spiraled at that point where it's like, okay, we're down 20, like let's just go for it, try to make something happen, and they just kept capitalizing on some missed throws or stuff like that. So they're a very good team, but look, I don't think I think that was honestly our worst performance also. So just it was the perfect storm to kind of hurt us in that one. But just to talk more about them, like they're so talented at every position, and they're also just really efficient at this point. Now they've really learned like the ins and outs, and they're just they take what the defense gives them, and then they can just beat you with any matchup. So it was kind of at that point where it was a bit of a reality check where we had to kind of reanalyze like what we're doing and take things, just make everything a bit simpler. But I think they're a really good team, and you've seen what they've done to the whole division. Like they're smoking almost everyone. But that one was a really bad game. It's just we instead of doing like damage control, trying to like mitigate the blowouts, we were just kind of just like saying, all right, let's just go for it, like see what happens,
Let's try to get some points on the board.
But in general, man, they're a very tricky defense to go against, and Gensley is really efficient on offense too. So they're just a really good team, and it's tough to play against them, man. But I'm looking forward to hopefully getting another matchup against them because I think we'll improve. But we've played against them a few times now, and the last couple have been similar blowouts. So it's a very tough team.
If you guys could take out the Royal Lamar first round, you guys probably will get them second round if they take care of business versus EW. So.
And look, in our division, I think it's really evenly matched. I think anyone can beat anyone any given day. It's just it's a matter of how you start the game is so important. Like I said, get into a negative game script where you're down 15 in 2 or 3 minutes. Like it's tough to get yourself out of that hole sometimes, especially when their team is so talented and can capitalize on your mistakes and they're so calm to just like keep their pace and throw short and all that. So really good team though. They've been insane this year.
Okay, looking at the makeup of your team, right? So I had a chance to scorekeep a ton of your games last few seasons, right? Obviously, like I said before, I've worked for McGill. You guys have 8 guys on your team right now who either are currently or formerly played for the McGill Redbirds. What was the idea? So, and especially in Division One, you have a lot of guys who either currently play tackle or formerly play tackle in the higher divisions, right? Especially the higher you go. What was the idea though? Your team, with the exception, I think, of you and like AJ. Zabatelia, I think the only guys that haven't played tackle on your team. What was the idea to getting so many tackle guys onto your flag team?
It just kind of happened like that. Like we joke around often that like we keep going a couple more seasons. Me and AJ are going to be gone. It's just going to be a full team of McGill, and we're gonna have to find somewhere new to play. But no, it just we started in Division 2 with a few McGill guys. I think it was like 2, 3, and then just as time went on, a guy drops out, and it's like, hey, I know a guy, so I'll get. It's like it's just their friend group that it happens to be that they're good at flag, So when we need a sub, it just happens to be someone that's like in the McGill like DB room, and then it just grows and grows, and then they become full-time members. So it's definitely an advantage because they're super athletic, but it's a learning curve too, right? Like we had guys that their first game ever in FPF was playing in Div 1, and it's like, all right, go rush, so it's like it's tough as well. But there also guys that were okay, just throw me the ball and they'll make a play. So you take the good with the bad, but I think in general it's been they've all learned like really quick, adjusted to FPF, which is a really tough transition, especially in the higher divs. But no, it kind of just happened like that, man. Like it was definitely not planned. It just kind of kept going more and more, snowball effect. One guy, I know a guy, and then finally we're just all a whole team of McGill guys. But it's a fun group, man, and it really gives us a sense of chemistry because all those guys communicate so well together, playing at they play at the highest level together, where they've already had to communicate in stressful situations versus U Laval, U Montreal, where it's like now they're playing FPF, they've been there before, they know how to communicate, and know how to get in and out of tough situations. So it definitely helps in that sense.
So out of all those guys, who's the one you have to kind of talk down sometimes? Be like, hey, this is flag, so this is flag, or maybe stop talking as much trash. Or who's that one guy you have to pull in the reins sometimes?
Oh boy, great question. I guess Ryan McNally is the first one that comes to mind. He's not
Really?
he's not really aggressive. Like if you've score kept Ryan, like he's just kind of like having fun with it the whole time, back and forth. But he's kind of giving you like little chirps that would probably be more appropriate in tackle. That sometimes in FPF people will turn around like, whoa, like what did this guy just say to me? Like, but it's not really anything crazy. I think I would say like the main thing is kind of like it's just more play style adjustment. Like naturally in tackle football, if you get burnt on the previous play, you want to be aggressive. You want to go hit someone. In flag, it's like you really have to keep your head and just go on to the next play. And you can't you can't be physical. You can't hit someone. It's really just a change of mindset. But I think they've all done a really good job adjusting. I'd love to give you a better answer, but to be honest, like as much as the guys talk, it's mostly like playful stuff. It's nothing like crazy where it's ultra aggressive. So it's Ryan's a big yapper, but it's not too aggressive or anything like
that. Okay. Who's like the one guy in your team, like football, tackle or non-tackle, whatever? Who's the one guy in your team that's kind of that joker that likes to keep everything loose for you guys?
It's a team full of jokers, man. It's tough to get serious with them sometimes because they're all like just bantering back and forth, and it's just nonstop. Ryan is hilarious. Charles Cassette too. Like, no matter the situation, he really keeps it light. He's like mid-game, he's making jokes with the refs. He's making jokes with their team. Phil Trudell also, like, it's nonstop like sarcasm and all that. But it's really like the group is full of guys that are just like constantly like joking. But those three they really keep it light for us. Like, no matter the situation, they kind of really like just ground the rest of us and keep in perspective, like, look, we're playing a game of flag with our friends. Like, let's not take it out of proportion, like as much as a competitive league, we're here to have fun at the end of the day. So they always keep it light, and it's a great group of guys. They're very funny, and they're all jokesters, man. Everyone on the team. So it's a really fun group.
Okay. I'll give you like a hypothetical here. You walk into a dark alley. Which one of those guys you taking with you?
Oh boy, I'll take AJ. Is just like a dog. Like I definitely take him. Like anything goes. Like he's super. To relate to FPF, he's super competitive. But in that situation, man, he's like for sure he's ride or die. He's just like a great teammate off the field, but that he just is willing to throw himself into any situation for sure. Mathis Pilon too, super like he's kind of a newer guy to FPF, but he's super like competitive, and he's like he's willing to just whatever it takes. But and even again, Charles Cassette, same thing. Like that guy's gonna just outsmart the situation and just think of like the way to get us out of it. But no, yeah, I would say AJ and Mathis are the guys I want with me, like yeah, in that situation, and Charles too. Good question though. Keep them coming. I'm liking the hypotheticals.
All right. So obviously, like I said, you guys have the playoff matchup coming up against Royal Luminaire. Like I said, you guys tied in 25-25 back in week 7. Obviously, you're the quarterback of the team, but you've been on it's you're one of the captains on this team. Defensively, what do you guys have to do to slow down Jesse Dupuis, Serge Pilon Jr., Alex Gamal, and the rest of that powerful Royal Luminaire offense, like you did the first time around?
Yeah, really, they're just really like methodical. Like I didn't play a snap of defense in that game, but watching from the sideline, it was just frustrating to play against them, where they would get themselves into like 4th and 6, and it's like, oh, finally, like it's our chance to get them off the field, and then it feels like they just have like that one play that they're so comfortable with. I'm assuming they're guys that have played together for a while, because I can tell. Yeah, there you go. They have such chemistry where it's just like the little details with them. I would say the main thing is just to keep them into like 3rd and long, 4th and long, because the second that they get into their 3rd and short, 4th and short, like they come up with the answers really quickly. So yeah, that would be the priority, just to kind of first, second down, try to fluster them, cause some incompletions, and then force them to test our athletes down the field. And I think that's really our strategy across Division 1, any team we play against, because we have the athletes. It's just getting them into those tough situations where it becomes tougher to convert those intermediate and deep passes. So I would just say, yeah, I would just say keeping them in the 3rd and long, 4th and long.
Okay. Going away from football for a second. So, what do you like to do outside of ball? Like, what are your interests? What are your hobbies? What do you like to do?
Well, to go outside of FPF, I'm a football coach, so I'm an offensive coordinator at Laval Senior Academy. So outside of flag football, it's more football. So I would say like I'm still a student. School takes up a lot of my time, but getting to work as an offensive coordinator, like I'm never not working, to be honest. Like any 2 seconds I get to scheme up or to, like watch film, that takes up a lot of my time. And it's as much as it's a job, it's a hobby, it's a pastime, because I just really enjoy it. So that I'm always looking to better myself in that sense. I'll read like books related to football, or I'll watch YouTube videos, stuff like that. So it's like, even though it's like I said, it's a hobby, but it's my job, but it's just it's something I love very much. Besides that, I had mentioned to you I'm starting a recruitment platform with some guys that also play in FPF. Basically, it's a recruitment platform for Quebec football players. We're starting off like that this coming season we're launching this summer, called Pipeline Recruiting. So that's been, starting the business, it's like nonstop, takes up so much of your time, obviously. And so that, with coaching, with school, like you don't get too much time for free time, but I enjoy reading. I enjoy video games, like stuff like that. I'm a pretty simple guy.
Okay, so pipeline recruiting. What was the idea behind it? What did you and these guys come up with the idea?
Yeah, so we all played tackle football. We went through the recruitment process, going to CEGEP. One of us, Phil Trudell, going to university to play for McGill. So we've kind of seen like the pitfalls of the recruitment process, how it's really a lot of stuff scattered everywhere. And we really wanted to just create a platform that was centralized for players and coaches, for everything to be in one. So highlights, information, preferences, interests. So it really just ties everything into one. And we're really trying to create like a sports community, basically like a kind of like a social media for athletes, where it's also beneficial for them getting recruited. So it's really just it's really just by going through the process as a player and seeing like where the holes were, and then just trying to kind of bridge that gap, and trying to create a platform that we think players are really going to enjoy, and coaches are going to enjoy to just simplify their lives as well.
Okay, and how far away are you guys from launching?
We're planning to launch this summer, so towards about July. We've been working on it for like almost a year now, and it's like we're in the stage of starting to market on social media. So we just started making a couple of posts, but we've been doing a lot of stuff behind the scenes recently. It's just been like going to a lot of conventions, talking to coaches, like trying to get feedback. So it's been a lot of kind of the dirty work, and now it's kind of the fun part of like actually like creating stuff for social media, selling. And we're really looking forward to that stuff that we've just recently started. So yeah, that's where we're at now.
Okay, so will it be like a website or an app? Or how could people find out more about it?
Yeah, so they can check us out on social media on Instagram. Pipeline_CA is our Instagram, and we have a link in our bio there for the website. And right now, it's just a landing page with kind of a lot of information there. So go check us out. You'll see kind of what we're about. And yeah, we have like videos and posts of like what the idea is. And yeah, we're looking to launch in the summer. So yeah, stay tuned, and we're gonna keep posting on that Instagram.
Okay, cool.
That's pretty cool.
Quaysie?
No, so that's pretty cool. That's a good idea.
I appreciate it. You guys played university? No, I think you guys. I heard that on a podcast. You guys both played for Concordia. Is that possible?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So it's just kind of like, you know, we feel like the recruitment process is kind of like stuck in the old days a little bit, where, you know, so much has caught up, like photography, social media. You know, Les Sportif is doing a great job with like,
Yeah.
you know, with all like the media and all that stuff. So we just felt like there had to be something to kind of advance recruiting as well. Because you guys are older guys. I don't think recruiting has changed too much since you guys were coming up till now. So that was kind of the idea.
Yeah, when I was at Vanier, it wasn't anything like crazy. Like, I mean, if you were like a top player, then it was kind of easier to get recruit. But if you're like in the mid section, like recruiting is pretty ass. So.
Yeah, it's just like, again, it's tough to find info on every player. You know, it's just, that's why we're trying to create something where everyone can kind of build their own identity and you know, kind of sell themselves to the best of their abilities.
Okay, nice. Yeah, listen, hey, best of luck on that, man. It's definitely needed. Football right now, I don't think football flag and tackle, I don't think it's ever been more popular, right? I mean, and to have a recruiting tool that could help get more visibility to athletes, I think is always a good thing for sure.
Yeah, and just quickly, I'll finish with this. I didn't mention that it's also going to be for flag rows for the first year, so flag and for football for year one. So that's pretty interesting. We have a lot of potential athletes that might be interested in hearing that. So
yeah,
look out for it.
Especially in Quebec too. Quebec's so big for women, for females as well too. So it's for both, for tackle. Quebec is known for football, right? Like we have the best of the best athletes.
I'm coaching girls flag as well at Laval Senior High School, and like like you said, Brent, it's crazy. It's never been more popular. Like the girls take it so serious. It's really just a great community, especially what FPF has built as well with the girls and co-ed and all that. Like there's some really talented girls out there, and it's sick to be a part of that.
Nice. All right, man. So again, like I said, best of luck, man. So yeah, again, it's Pipeline Recruiting, and you can find it on social media at pipeline_CA.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. Pipeline_CA. So check it out. And like you said, you guys are launching this summer, so we'll definitely keep an eye on that. And before you launch, if you want to come back on the pod, man, and talk about it some more, feel free, man, anytime.
Perfect. I might have to. Yeah. Yeah, perfect.
All right, man. All right. So Michael Caparelli again, quarterback for One Stop to get ready for the playoffs starting soon, taking on Royal and Luminaire. So best of luck to you down the road. Obviously, aiming for the championship. We'll see what happens with that. And thanks for coming on the pod, man. We appreciate it.
Thanks.
Appreciate it. Yeah, nice meeting you, Quaysie. Brent, I'm happy I finally was able to work. Tell Rory, man, make him hear it about that game recently. We beat them last week, so let him hear a little bit. But
he's coming on next. So
he's a great player, man. Yeah, he's a great player, man. So it was fun playing against them. They're a great team. But yeah, thanks again for having me on.
All right, thanks for coming on. Appreciate it, man.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yep. All right, so that was again Mike Caparelli from One Stop. So big thanks to him for joining us again. Like he said, Pipeline Recruiting. You find it at pipeline_. That's it. You two have a good one, man. Pipeline_CA. Find out more about it. Like I said, it's going to be launching this summer, so make sure to be on the lookout for that. Coaching Laval Senior Academy as well. I didn't know that, so that's super cool. Helping on the boys team and the girls team as well. So giving back to the game is always a good thing.
Mm-hmm. So a lot of
Sorry.
Hmm?
Go.
Okay, I know. I was like just agreeing with you, and then I was asking if you wanted to go into Division 4 before Rory gets.
Let's finish off Division Division 4 there, and then so we'll wait for our next guest, Rory to come on.
Yeah, so let's go into Division 4 because I'm guessing Rory will probably talk a bit some Division 1 with us as well, and then we'll get into Final Five as well. And he also plays co-ed too. So, but so Division 4A, right? Again, big week for week 13. We talked about most of the teams until Wednesday, April 1st. Those games we didn't talk about. We got to Team Ethic beat Ethnic beat the last chance. They won 41-25. So that's actually it's pretty. They're I think they're on a roll. I think they won the last 3 games. I want to say. I think they ended up being the Ducks 24-19 last week. I think they won before that too. So right now they're on a roll. Ambush. Sorry. Um, there's a game I want to talk about. Trap Stars. Trap Stars winning 35-34 versus Penetrators. So again, Penetrators goes into 6-4, but that win for Trap Stars basically secured their number 1 seed. I thought, to be honest with you, before the season started, my number 1 team was the Trap Stars. I feel like they've been playing a while, and they're kind of a team that just they win. It doesn't matter who they have; they win games. Their quarterback Ryan Garber, he does a great job with his team. He just kind of it's a team that just kind of grinds, like 3 yards, 4 yards, 5 yards, 6 yards. He kind of takes what he gives them, and then a lot of people they don't realize that's this is a perfect example of a team where it doesn't matter how talented you are if you have a good system if you have a good system, you could literally win tons of games and you could beat teams that are more athletic than you. Because it's a team that's not athletic, they just have a great system and they know what they're doing. So a little shout out to the Trap Stars finishing their season 9-1 and clinching the number one seeded. So that's pretty good for them. They should have easier matchups when it comes to playoffs. Again, number 1-4 do get buys, so there is that. Looking at the seedings, though, just to see the teams that are kind of fighting for playoffs right now, everyone's pretty much in. The top 12 teams are in. So you have the only team I think can maybe make a put. No, everybody's unless there's a 3-way tie. If some team wins 3-way tie, it depends on Bible studies. Depends who they beat this year. They're kind of struggling as well.
Oh, yeah. 6 in a row. They've lost 6 straight and all by blowouts.
Yeah, they're struggling right now. At first they won their first game 39-27 versus Black Vipers, and we kind of talked about it briefly as well. And then they lost versus 30-41 versus the Ducks, and then they beat Nighthawks 39-36. So those 3 games that got played, we kind of talked about them a bit. They look good, Evan Vinza.
Yep.
Yeah, he was doing great. You had Rocco as a receiver that was making plays for him, and then all of a sudden they just went from a downfall and just getting blown out for most teams. Right, they lost 51-8 to Ball Hawks, 42-6 to Bible Study. 42-6 to Nut and Run. 32-14. They just blowout games, right? And they finished their season versus Rick and Marty. So actually, thing that's going to be crazy if Team Ethic, if they win versus Back to the Future, right? So if they win that game, they jump up 4-6, right? Bible Study, if they beat Rick and Marty, they're both 3-6, and Bible Study will jump Rick and Marty because they'll have the tie break head to head. So we're actually looking at kind of games that are going to matter for the last week where we're going to have for week basically tonight. Bible Study's playing Rick and Marty. So Bible Study has to win that game, and then they need to make sure Back to the Future ends up losing their last game so they can jump that last playoff push, that last playoff space. So 2 games that are actually going to matter for basically both teams, which is kind of interesting to see that teams are still fighting for a playoff spot.
100%. And that game, like I said, right, Bible Studies lost 6 straight. Like I said, they got blown out in all 6 games. Yeah, Rick and Marty hasn't been that much better. Rick and Marty's lost 2 in a row and 5 of their last 6, right? So 2 teams kind of not playing the ball you want to be playing, right, with the postseason coming up. We'll have to see what happens. Again, like I said, Bible Study needs to get the W to make sure they get into the playoffs. Team Ethnic, right, trying to hang on pretty much to that last playoff spot. Like I said, they're taking on Back to the Future. That's going to be taking place this Sunday, final game of the regular season. This Sunday in Chateauguay, 9 o'clock. Back to the Future against Team FA. So again, teams right now that are struggling to get in, but once you get into the playoffs, you never know, anything could happen. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. But again, 2 big games remaining here in this division before it's all said and done.
Mm-hmm. Let's go Division 3.
Yep.
Division 3. So I believe Division 3 playoffs are also set with the loss of Nomads losing their last game of this, losing yesterday. I believe they played. So just kind of looking at the playoff standings. Yeah, Nomads end up losing their last game versus they played Eastway. So they lost. Eastway ended up winning that game 20-14, and they played spoiled for Nomads. So Nomads are out. Benitos are out. Mongoose are out. Raffins are out. Bet Under out. Team Sexy's out. Timothy's out, and 1 Goal is out. So these are the 7 teams, unfortunately, are not making playoffs. And then we have 16 teams that are making playoffs. And we have one game left. We have Mongoose versus who do we have? Sorry, the website's not loading.
Sorry?
For the Brent, do you see the last game that's happening for Division 3?
Yeah, so I'm looking at it here. Oops, sorry, I just jumped off the screen. Yes, Mangoes against Renard Vips. That's going to be Sunday.
Okay, sorry, my thing wasn't ready. Yeah, so that's gonna be the last game of the season taking place on week 15, where it doesn't. I don't think it matters as much for standings. I think Les Renards could jump up to. Actually, it does matter. They can make a big jump. They can make on tie breaks. They've allowed 285. They could jump Killer Rays, I believe, and then Wendy's if they can. So I think they could jump up to the 8th seed. So again, it's interesting to kind of see where you want to be placed. Maybe it's better to make draw. Maybe they'll be better in spot 11 seed because it's all about Division 3 is one division where it kind of matters who you play because a lot of the teams are even, but there is good matchups for certain teams. So I think one year, I'm pretty sure we lost on purpose just because we didn't want to play a certain team. So just to keep that in mind, as it does happen. Sometimes you don't want to play versus a team. You're like, we're not playing this team, so we're gonna lose, and we're gonna try to make sure the seedings kind of work out for us, because it's still again for the playoff breakdown. There's no buys for Division 3, so no one gets any buys. It's a straight 1 to 6, 2 to 7. 1 to 16, 2 to 15, 3 to 14. There's no easy outs. There's no congratulations, you went 9-1. You could go 9-1. You could lose your first game. And again, we have the Pizza Cat versus Ballhawks, so that's gonna be interesting. One thing I'm very interesting to see is Les Ranskers. Sorry, Ranskers. I know it's pronounced in French, but Les Ranskers, whatever. So they're a team that we didn't talk about at all this year, right? They kind of went under. They kind of went under the radar for us. They lost their first game versus Coraline, 38-14, and then I think after that I just know I feel like we didn't talk about them at all. They finished the season 8-2, right? So they had a great year. They're a new team in this division. I believe last season they played Division 4, or I think Division. I guess it would be AP. If this is Division 4, I think they played D. I want to say I'm not or C or D, but they're new. This is their first year in Division 3. I'm pretty sure. They have the best defense right now. They have the second best defense right now. They have allowed 205 points and they scored 307. So their defense is doing a great job. The only team that's kind of close to them, or that's kind of is Win Diesel at 213. Everybody else is really at the 220 mark or higher. So they're doing their job. I'm interested to see how they're going to perform versus Bear Belly Brigade because that's going to be their first round matchup. I don't want to say they're going to be a one and done team, but they're going to have to stop Bear Belly Brigade's offense because they've scored 354 points, with still a lot of points, and they have playoff experience. BBB has been playing in this league for a while, and they've have a lot of playoff experience. And again, regular season games and playoff games are completely different. Time management becomes a huge thing. Just knowing a situation where sometimes you're not really as comfortable because you're not used to be playing in playoffs, it's a huge thing. So I think Bear Bradley Beans is going to get the advantage for that, but you can't shy away the fact this season how good this season they Ragars are doing this year. I was also talking to a few teams, and I don't want to call any teams, but some teams are saying they're one and done. You know, so we're gonna have to find out how they do. I know I got kind of some guy came. I'm gonna say his name. So Nicholas Boucher came up to me. Yeah, he's the top receiver right now for this team. For Yeah, he's a top receiver. He basically just asked like, why aren't you guys talking about us in the podcast? He's like, we're doing good right now. We're 8-2, you know. So I kind of just want to give him a shout out. I kind of looked at their stats, and again, they're doing well. They're doing a great job. But I just don't know how good of experience they're gonna. I'm sorry, I just don't know how well they're gonna perform in playoffs in Division Three, just because it's a whole different game.
Right. Well, well listen, they wanted to call out. We're giving them the call out. Now they're gonna have to prove why we should be calling them out more. Right. We're gonna have to wait and see what happens come the
Yeah, in that
postseason.
first round. So I think that's gonna be interesting. See, and again, they didn't. Division Three is a crazy division because, to be honest with you, I think every single team in Division Three you could lose the first round. You know, I think there's enough talent on every single team where you're like, oh, you know what? If we don't go into this game swinging at the beginning, we definitely could lose. So I'm kind of just
Yeah.
interested to see how Division Three playoffs it's gonna basically what's gonna happen.
Unfold. Yeah, for sure. For sure. Okay.
That's pretty much it
All
for
right.
me
So
for Division Three. I don't have anything else to kind of talk about. There's no
no,
games.
we're good. We're good.
Shout out to All
We're
Blacks
good.
for winning 39-0 versus Raffins. That's also one thing I have to say. All Blacks that's the number one defense right now. They've only allowed 169 points, I want to say, this season. Looking at the standings, 162 they have allowed this year. So they're doing a great job. Their offense is not scoring any points. So they're a team. I feel like they're a gritty team, and they're just gonna waste the clock and kind of just have a slow pace. They scored 219 and only allowed 162. So teams have literally tripled, doubled up. Like Speed Academy scored
Yeah.
402 points this year, and we have 2 nights. So pretty much they doubled the points that they scored. So, but just shout out to them, only allowing 0 points, and kind of showing why they're the number one defense right now.
All right. Quickly, and then we have a guest coming on like about a minute. Quickly, Division Two. So Division Two is done. We wrapped up Division Two. It ended this past Monday. Hard Eight, big win over the Bruins, 52-23. And then the Stoics knocking off KGP Legends in an upset, 31-19. I believe I had KG. I think actually I went 2 for 2 in my picks in my article for Division Two this week. So great for them. And on Saturday we had KGP Legends knocking off Otto Hoagie the Pimps in a big upset. Well, not a big, but somewhat of an upset, 36-30. We had a game Friday. We had Friday Night Lights. We had Camping Butte knocking off Hard Eight, 37-36. This past Wednesday, before we went off the air, we had KGP Legends beating Party Crashers 35-32. Shot o'clock. So your team knocking off Le Verge Fall 24-18, and LeBron Taraj beating Flag Slayer Corp, who fell to 0-10 for the regular season. Well, for the season, I should say, pardon me. 43-25. So some big games, a couple of upsets in Division 2. Looking quickly at the standings before we get to our guests. LeBron Charge ending up at first place with a 7-3 record. KGP Legends 7-3 are in second. Captain Butte in third, also with a 7-3 records. Obviously, the head-to-head matchups and the points against factor into that. Idaho Ute Pimps 7-3 as well. That seems to be a theme here in
Yeah,
Division
we do
Two.
that.
So yeah, they finished 7-3. Bruins falling to fifth place, 6-4. Silent Ticklers 6-4 and 6. Hard 8, 5-5 in seventh. The Stoics in eighth with a 5-5 record. So those are the top 8 teams making the playoffs again. So it'll be a matchup of LeBron Tourage, Stoics, KGP Legends, Hard 8. Campy Butte in third, taking on 6th seed Silent Ticklers, and the 4th seed Idaho Ute Pimps taking on the 5th seed. And the Bruins, of course, will have the playoff matchups for you next week. But again, a lot of moving and shaking up and down the standings with the last couple of days of Division Two. So now that it's in the books, the playoff matchups have been set, as I said. So we'll get to more of that next week on the pod.
Yeah.
Uh, Division One, like we said, we had on Michael Caparelli from one stop before. So Division One is now in the books, and that's it for all the 6v6 divisions. We have a guest coming on here. We're going to be talking, obviously, with the women's division and the co-ed and the 5v5. What was that, Ali Reza?
Yeah. So
Yes, exactly. So
before we
we're gonna have
before we
So this is sorry.
yeah, Brent, before we close the episode, I want to give a shout out to Bruins. Because we needed them to win. They lost 52-23. So I have no love for them anymore. I don't know how you guys lose by 30 points
Wow.
versus Jets. So I just wanna give them a little shout out there. Thanks for ruining our season. Thanks for
Not you guys not winning the game as you're supposed to, but those jerks for losing managing to help you guys out. All right, that's fair.
You know what's
Yeah.
crazy? So we needed a miracle to happen to get into playoffs. And
Yeah.
the site has been bugging so often the past couple days. So the game was at 7:00. So 7:00 was by. I didn't want to message Jeff either, asking if he won or lost. So I was kind of like, oh, it's gonna be a surprise, you know. So 8:00, I try to look at the stats. Nothing's up. 9:00,
Okay.
nothing's up. 10:00, nothing's up. 11:00, nothing's up. 12:00, nothing's up. Then I get a text at like 6:00 in the morning from Tam saying, "Yeah, we're done. They won." Great.
Great start to your day. Great
Yeah,
start to your
great
day.
start in the morning, you know? So, anyways, but
Okay.
I'm just kidding around. Shout out to the Bruins, whatever. It is what it is. Hopefully they can play better in the playoffs and maybe they beat Jeff going into the no, they can't play they can play him in the second or third round. So but anyways, I'm excited for Division Two as well too. I think it's gonna be interesting. And then shout out to LeBron Tourage. They didn't like what I said about them losing the first round. So it's gonna be interesting to see. They play the Stoics again. I think out of all the 8 teams, I think anyone can lose to anybody. So I'm gonna give the Stoics. I think Stoics are gonna win, but again, we'll talk about it more next week when we talk about playoff matchups.
All right. And don't forget, obviously, the spring season is coming up. Registration is already open. It opened on April 3rd. Registration closes May 3rd. The season starts May 26th. The new spring/summer season finals will be August 22nd and August 23rd. So if you haven't registered yourself, your team or yourself as an individual, I need to get on that myself. Make sure to go to FlagPlusFootball.com. Make sure you get on there. So again, like I said, registration has opened already and it closes May 3rd. So that's going to come before you know it. So if you have not registered yourself as a team or yourself as an individual, make sure you get on to FPF and register for the spring/summer season. Spots are filling up fast. So make sure you do there and you get on there, and you register yourself ASAP.
So
So we have a special guest coming on in the second episode. I know he's waiting. Thank you for your patience. We're going to talk a little Division One with him because he is part of Division One. I know we touched on that with Michael Caparelli, who came on before. Shout out to Mike for coming on for that episode. Like he said, Pipeline Recruiting and pipeline_.ca. You can find his stuff out on social media when they launch, as they should be doing this coming summer. This has been episode number 1. Thanks for tuning in. Episode 2 coming up. Stay tuned.
Put the place up. Yeah, we